I'm Tiffany Scales, and I'm creative.
There's no other God like you. No one can do me better than you. There's no greater power but you. You're my one and only Savior, and I can't help but praise you. There's no other God like you. No one can do me better than you. There's no greater power but you. You're my one and only Savior. Your love is so contagious.
At night we find ourselves finding ourselves.
Art is the literal source of our creation, and it's the direct communication from our creator. And as I mentioned earlier, the synonyms we use, God, art, light, source, energy, being, creator, most high, all of that is all of this. And it is through the paintbrushes that we are able to stroke color, that we're able to spark information, that we are able to plug into people's emotions, that we're able to convey a message in sync with our spirit. And music is a language that our souls speak. And that's why our feet tap when we hear the drum. That's why we sway at the violin. That's why we are called to pay attention when we hear the voice of an open chakra, if you will. Yeah. But it's the closed mind that always misses the blessing, and that is just a disservice to it.
There's a book called The 4 Agreements, and one of the agreements is to be impeccable with your words. And most people don't even know what impeccable means. But Tiffany epitomizes being impeccable with your words. And that's why I love her, because the representative that people send to the table in every room that they enter is not their truth. And so people don't even know how to speak their truth. And so Tiffany not only speaks the truth for her, but she gives a voice for other people who cannot be impeccable with their words. When when that intuition that she has, and she's able to, one of the things I love is when she does the word, give me 5 words, or give me, that's magic. Like, that is her gift of intuition. Like, she's actually seeing something that the other person don't even know. And that is the epitome of impeccable, like truth, right, inside. And so, yeah, when I talk about, so many people have so many representatives, unfortunately, I don't have any. Like, what you see is what you get. And that's who I bring to the table every day. I just want to love one another as we love ourselves.
Love is the religion I practice. I laugh at the fools who act like the rules weren't meant to control them, as though high men weren't broken. They've been as sodomized by true lies as rape victims unwillingly sacrificed to points their faith has been compromised. I am sick and tired of having to compromise what I believe in. I know you think I'm afraid.
To a degree of perfection, her face stays at attention, her cheeks be erect, though they don't mention the tears that have shed upon them. She be perfect, though oftentimes always put on edit screens, trying to backspace the ways reality will place her. She be fearless, though fear be beckoned, and her eyes be witness, and her cheeks are always finding themselves sponges of absorbing the ways in which the profession can come of emotional constipation. She be forgotten. She be missed. She literally not be noticed in room and present, but more so the tense of her shoulders. She is always upheld in such ways that we prevail, not knowing that it is the curl of her lips, the fingertips that she exists, but more so the way the paint is stroked upon her face to erect her cheek higher, because no one thought it was good enough. She always be looking for higher ground, always be looking for the vibration to sound off, for her to realize she is not exhausted. She's just taking a deep breath. Resting bitch face, they said, but more so bitch be made to rest. More so bitch be put in place. More so bitch not be her name, but the ways in which they proclaim she be diminished, demolished, and put into position, not understanding that her power cannot be forgiven, but more so let in. She breathes in so deeply, and she allows her fingertips to see the beauty of her skin within, because there's no blemish that could be covered like the ones that she uncovers when she reveals herself. She be Mother Earth, dirt, always compared to clay, always trying to be molded into something beautiful, but she just the same, with all the crevices on her face, every line, every wrinkle, every bit of dismay she has been placed in front of. She realizes she is always in the back seat of the ride, not realizing how far we can drive because we don't understand the purpose of life until we live. The actual algorithm for how you breathe, like take a deep breath in. And when you consider the time that you have spent breathing shallow, allowing life to present itself to you, you spend a little time upset with yourself for not taking advantage for the breath in your body, right? And individuals who experience PTSD or stress or depression or anger or road rage, they shallowly breathe, and then they excavate their emotions from a place of deficit, as opposed to, thank you, God, for my breaks, or thank you for the attention that was paid, or I'm so appreciative to pay attention to this moment. But the concept of 3 and 7, completion, 10, the Trinity, all of the reasons why completion comes together is it's a full circle. To take a deep breath in for 3 seconds, collect yourself, be collected, be drawn to attention, and then for 7 seconds, release it so that place you were in no longer is the place you are, and you move forward. And in 1 minute, you can take 6 of those deep breaths. And in 1 minute, you can change the trajectory of your life, the whole experience, because it's not about you. And if the books didn't help, if Rick Warren didn't help, if page 1 didn't help, 3 and 7 is sufficient. Because it doesn't matter if you're a child and you're having a moment, or if you're elder and you're having a moment, everything in between is breathing. And you know, even the hardships that we face as a culture, like, I can't breathe. And the things that we say so quickly as if that moment was just taken from us, as opposed to the people we watch die on TV. And they cannot breathe, but we can, and we do so in vain. It's embarrassing. Like, let me help you make all of your breaths deep. And that's the concept of life. My friend Chicago told me on Sunday, mind you, I leave church, got a great word, and I'm going to my mama's house, but something told me to stop at her house. And so I pulled up to Chicago house, and I was like, man, I just had to see you for a moment. And we were literally there for 5 minutes, and she was like, Tiff, you didn't even know. It's been you the whole time. What is spirituality? And I was like, state of being. She was like, nah, watch this video. Dude on TikTok is explaining that spirituality is the art of breathing, and that spirit is breath. And she said, Tiff, you've been teaching us for years how to be with spirit. Right. And you talk about like an amazing mind blow, because I've always known I've done it. And even in the words I've spoken that play now, 4 years later almost, and they still are so relevant, they still speak to me, right. They're still purposeful. And so the concept of knowing that churches ain't doing what we do, right? We're not trying to guide you to a place to get to our destination. We're letting you walk with us to the destination that we seek. And teaching you what manifestation is, what meditation does, the concept of focusing on something for a period of time, not being ungodly or being demonic, but being intentional and determined. And the whole presence of being able to do that has been so mind-blowing, because I have always started it with take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. And I had to acknowledge my own conviction in my spirit, because I've been assuming people knew what slow was. Right. 7 seconds. Slow it down, pace yourself, you know, and the concept of me being able to run bars in a minute versus being able to give you an impactful statement and it resonate. I've been in crowds of people, the George Floyd march, and I heard this voice say, love is the religion I practice. And I'm just like, I spoke this moment years ago. You know what I mean? It's just absolutely incredible. And how Saint said, you know, you're just so real. You are authentic. And I spoke, you know, I think it's necessary to be authentic. What sense is there to stand in front of crowds of people, allowing them to see me, and I don't let them see me? I'm having this human experience, and it don't rock with my spirit much. You know, the quickness to anger, the all of the guilt and the shame and the gluttony and the wanting more and the coveting, all of these things I experience as a human, but in my spirit, love reigns. And it's incredible. And this opportunity to have this conversation, I text you because you hit my spirit, and your response was, I think you're
a prophet.
And my response was, I've been called that many times, but I don't claim it. But it always seems to come up. And I know now, I know how to decipher between doubt and Jesus. The punctuation. God don't talk to you in question marks. It's in statements of certainty, the knowing. And some things you can't explain, but when you know, you know. And there's no question, because I know what your time is worth. And the fact that there's no one in our way, there's no one knocking and ringing the doorbell and, Catherine, can you do this? Mama, can you do that? Hey. None of it. Our phones didn't even ring. Mine is not on Do Not Disturb. Right. Like, the time is now.
I think it's necessary to be authentic. What point is there to stand in front of crowds of people and allow them to see me if I don't allow them to see me? Unapologetically allowing my truth to be told, and they'll be exposed to the beauty of its expression, but
I took for granted eye contact with you led me on fast-forward adventures to hospital rooms of the babies I would bloom. Forward motions of knowing that the heart has strings that will tug me to ways in which the epitome will bring me to a place of so much vulnerability, because I remember wishing I could be somebody's mother. And today I spoke to a woman who's probably like a year younger, but I treated her like she was my kid. And she talked to me about how I did mother her and put her in position to really bloom. And I'm so proud to see that I was able to live long enough to see them become themselves. Like, motherhood has nothing to do with bearing babies, but holding love for the growth of greatness. And this painting is the epitome of eye contact with things that I may never see, but I know that my words will live. And I'm so grateful for you, Saint. Because if you don't see past the obstacle, you'll never know. I tell you, I was probably 19 when I wrote obstacles will only appear mountainous when you stand before them. They are minuscule molehills when you overcome them. My younger self spoke that to me now. And everything I have scaled, nothing. And it's not until you live that you realize life is purposeful and yours is purposed. Mm-hmm. But this whole shallow breathing, low vibration, I'm the epitome of a sim. I don't play well with them. Right. But they can still serve their purpose as the pawns they are. Distractions and barriers and friends to have. I used to really like feel left out because I wasn't invited to people's house or to the table or to the party. But I'm not going to dance. I'm not going to do the little stanky leg. That's not in me. What I will do is be here when you're ready to be talked to, into, and to bring yourself to life so you can live your purpose, you know? Right. And that's who I am. Waiting.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a poet too. So many of us, we can't speak our truth because we always have someone we're sending to represent us. We're afraid of who we are, where we are, what space we're in, expectation. And so for so many people, they're so lonely despite that they have 4,000 people on their Facebook or, 8,000 people following them on Instagram, because they don't even know who they are, because they've lived their life through a representation of themselves. And so I think that is a real thing. I don't know if there's some science behind this. I did not make this up, I'm sure, but I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it as, through my career. It's so unfortunate that I'm always the only one in the room. Like, so many times I'm the only woman, I'm the only person of color. And I'm like, there gotta be more of me. But it's because I strongly believe there's not enough of us that believe that we are here at this moment, at this place, at this time, because who we are. I am great. I do have this talent. I do have this magic that I bring to the room, and so do others. And when we come together collectively as our real self, we do unstoppable things. And so, I invite people to leave your representative at home and bring your real self to the table. There's a saying, when you're not at the table, bring your own chair. And that's so true, because when you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And so we have for so long been left out or overlooked. We have to jump higher, run faster, be prettier, all the things. When we add the value, we bring the magic. We don't need a representative. We just need ourselves.
Fell off the lines, didn't color inside. We found ourselves more so in the nursery rhymes, always wondering why Mary had a little lamb. And his fleece was white as snow, as though the purity of God could grow into something so dirty if we were shown our truth. Would we not be as used to the depiction of more so the detection of somebody else's presence? If you could see me, why do we find ourselves running when we feel naked? Why do we find ourselves running when we feel transparent? Why do we find ourselves running? And a real artist won't go back to edit, right? It's not about perfection. It's about the release. And that is the exchange that people need. Because this is the epitome of Ifa, of light, of faith, of practice, of worship, of woman, of strength, of erect life. But if you don't shed light on that and you don't understand the trouble of coils and the strain of control and the humidity that we face and the puff that we experience, we don't understand, like, there is woman in every bit of the corner. You know what I mean? Like, who's to say that she likes how her hair turned out that day, or that she hopes her curls come out right from that wrap? Like, you don't, man, this is just the epitome of perfection. Yeah. And I pray his mama understands it's not a reflection of her or his daddy's expectation, but he's doing a work that he's called to do, and there's no explanation required. And the black sheep of the family, they still bow.
To its womb, appeasing as it's directly their restlessness, appearing minuscule to the loom, beckoning acknowledgement of its essence. A minute bud that one day burst full bloom, contrasting midsummer night's gloom, pressed against its labellum are gentle kisses.